Hippie alert. We're going to be talking about nature, the circle of life, and why nature is so important in men's personal development journey. It teaches us, it heals us, it provides for us, and more importantly, it gives us a sense of perspective of actually who we are and what we're a part of. Is we are not some special sacred thing. We are part of this system, whether it be our community, this planet, this ecosystem, and we're custodians of it so that we can pass it on. You may have heard me talk anyway in videos before about how we have to bring initiation, we have to bring men's work to the cities, to the men, and that's true. But at some point, we have to bring men to nature because it's an integral part of our development. And why? Well, one, a lot of us sadly have become disconnected from nature. When we become disconnected to nature, in many ways we become disconnected to the fact that we are just an animal that is part of this bigger system. So we forget that the rules apply to us, those universal rules of life and death, the need for food, sustenance, the need for clean water, the need for all things, we lose. We don't think that applies to us anymore. So we can start acting as if we're not an animal. We can start acting as if we're out of balance with the world. We can just take, and not see that for every tree we cut down, we have to plant one. Otherwise, we can't live, right? We are able to act as something other than a part of nature because we get to not believe we're a part of nature when we get to just live in these modern cubicles that we live in the whole time and not have an experience of the circle of life. The circle of life. So it's really important that we can go and reconnect with nature because nature is the great teacher. There's nothing we can't learn by looking at nature. You know, it's happening and it's brutal. It reminds us of the brutality and the beauty of life. That's why it's such a great teacher. It reminds us that, my friend telling me a story. No, the story I love about humans and nature. You know, I was watching one of these programs where like they're redoing up an old house, and this guy had bought this chapel, an old chapel in England, 400-year-old church, and was turning it into a house. And the central beam was a 400-year-old piece of oak, a solid, massive piece of oak. And they were built, when they were looking at it, they were like, where are we going to find an oak beam? We're going to have to replace this oak beam. Where are we going to find an oak beam big enough? Well, in this program, Grand Designs are one of those, you know, they start going and they start researching the property and they start going through the old libraries. And eventually they found the original designs and deeds of this church. And the architect or the builder probably wouldn't have been even called something as grand as an architect in those days. He had worked out that the tree would only be able to last for 400 years. He planted another tree. He planted a tree so it'd be the right age when the building, when it needed to be replaced, right? And I know that's not really nature, but that's when we understand that nature. We understand we're part of something bigger. And I saw that, and I remember, I was coming down a little bit, but I remember sitting and I cried because in a way it showed me the best versions that we can be. And that's when we're connected with nature, when we know that it's a give and take, it's an ebb and flow. Nature is a healer as well. You know what it's like. You go and spend some time in the country, take your shoes off, go for a walk, swim in a lake, see the birds. Man, it maybe I'm assuming that it's a healer for you, but it's a healer for me. You know, sometimes even here in London, I go and sit in the park and there's a big tree in Horniman Park, and my son, when he was young, used to call it the daddy tree because it was like a big oak tree. I don't even know if it's oak, but it's a big tree. And I often go and sit under that tree in the summer, and I think, what's it seen? what is the changes that's seen? And that just reminds me, you know what, I'm just here for a bit, then I'm going to go. That's just the way it is. And I don't know when I'm going to go. Because look how it is with animals. You know, we don't call a cat evil when it kills a mouse. You know, we don't call a fox evil when it kills a lamb, right? Because it's just doing what it does in nature. It's just doing what it does. But yet we've forgotten what we do. And we now do something else that doesn't seem very natural to me. You know, and also, like, nature is a teacher because it don't take any fucking prisoners. You know, if you go out in nature and it starts raining and you ain't packed the right gear, you're going to get wet. You're going to get sick. If you go out somewhere, you run out of food, you're going to starve. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to starve, right? So, it teaches us, it heals us, it provides for us. And more importantly, I think it gives us a sense of perspective of actually who we are and what we're a part of. And that's the bit I think that desperately is missing, and that we need to do within men's personal development, is we are not some special sacred thing. We are a part of this system, whether it be our community, whether it be this planet, this ecosystem, whatever it is. We're just here to be part of it, and we're custodians of it so that we can pass it on, right? What are we doing? What sort of ancestors are we? What sort of ancestors are we going to be if we don't make sure there's something be left to pass on? So, you know, I did warn you this would be a bit of a kind of hippie rant, but I am a hippie at heart, you know, because I care. I care about this world. I care about this planet. I care about the children yet to come. We have a responsibility for those, and I need to get myself out of the way and face that responsibility. And that's what nature allows me to do. And it's tough to survive in nature on your own. So you need to build community. We had to have communities when we lived in nature. So get the great reset that nature can give you. Find a way, even if it's just in your garden, take your shoes off for a minute, socks off, ground. Go and see the sky. Go and see the sun come up, watch it go down just for a couple of days. Get your rhythms back in order. Nature is the great gift. It's the great healer. It's the great teacher. It's what holds us. And it's what will outlast us. So let's not think that we are masters over it. We are custodians of it. And when we connect to that, we stop being so important. And when we stop being so important, it's easier to step into service. When we step into service, it's easier for us to start contributing. When we start contributing, it's easy for us to feel better, build community. Be a good ancestor. Take care of the world as much as you can. Get into nature. Take care. Keep doing the work.